Hello everybody, today I have the pleasure to propose to you this key 14 entitled Transcendence, a pathway to ascent. Well, what is concretely transcendence? Transcendence literally is the fact to surpass yourself according to the normal situation. Concretely, it is to make something ordinary extraordinary. It is surpassing actually your normal capacity of, let's say, linked to the human conditions. So I give you some example to, especially the first one is the story of Kennedy. Maybe you know, but in 61, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, the President of United States, declared officially, without talking to NASA and the scientists, he said, before the end of this decade, we will send a man on the moon. He will walk on it, and he will come back. And the NASA say, and the scientists say, what the beep? Because they say to themselves that it's completely crazy. It's impossible, technically speaking, and it was absolutely not feasible. It was impossible, literally. But the result has been what? And you know the story. That's in 69, Armstrong walked on the moon and came back. Okay, what is that? Transcendence. The transcendence means that everybody believed in the feasibility and the possibility. So they invest so much. They invest so much of their, let's say, emotion, beliefs, efforts, and so on, and they obtain more than the possibility and more than the expected results. So this is literally transcendence. Okay, another extreme example, which is more something it has been spread a bit everywhere on the planet, and probably there is different cases, but it is the case of a mummy for which the kid was trapped under the car, okay, under the car, and she rushed at it, and she has the ability to wait the car and to release the kid. A car is 1 ton, 1,000 kilos. You know, in halterophilia, the big baby, the maximum they can afford, and the world record, is roughly 250 kilos. Okay, so we can consider that she did more than a professional, a man, normally with more capacity, muscle and so on, is an expert of it, is doing all his life for this performance, and she did 3 times, 4 times more. She has been able to weight, to lift 3 or 4 times more than a professional. Literally, it's impossible. Okay, it is impossible. It is a kind of miracle, because a normal being cannot, and especially a woman with less physical capacity, as a matter of fact, nature gave her less, is not able. So how it is possible? It is possible in the sense of transcendence, at a moment for which you are not thinking about anything. There is an empty space for which you, let's say, you free up your mind regarding possible, impossible. That's why the famous quote saying, they did it because they didn't know it was impossible. Okay, is this principle. Concretely, you ignore the fact that there is some limits, so you do it. Because everything is question of beliefs. And especially due to the education, due to the process of getting old, because we are conditioned towards that. If we think, you are 40 years old, you cannot do that and that. Personally, I have no limits. Okay, I'm 41, so I'm not so old, but I really feel my body has never been so at the top of his game, honestly, because my quality of life is good, and also my mindset. We will see the notion of the mindset, the importance of the mindset. But concretely, for this typical case, well, this is a little bit extreme, but in general, it is the fact to free up this notion of preconcept idea of something, because everything occurs on the notion of the consciousness and unconsciousness. Unconsciousness, concretely, if you do a tattoo inside, is the truth. Okay, true or not, but is your truth for your body. So if you are programming for believing something, you can do it or not. Okay, so that's why hypnosis allows you to clean up an addiction and so on, capacity and so on. And so this is this transcendence. That's the results being is the somatic. When we already talk about that, but if you believe, let's say concretely and hardly that the pill will save you, cure you, and there is nothing inside, you eat and you feel better. Okay, it's a matter of fact. It is placebo effect. Placebo, literally in Latin, means I heal. Okay, and on the other way around, if you believe that it can affect your health and so on, this is a placebo. It will do, because you will create something inside and it will destroy. That's why the beliefs and the mindset are extremely important. Mindsets impact your vibration. We saw in the chapter, in the previous key, the key 12, energy. Okay, and we saw that everything is an energy, and we saw that even our thoughts are energy. And you remember the sentence of Buddha: what you think, you become. What you imagine, you create, and what you feel, you attract it. Okay, so basically it's a matter of fact. So that's why it's important. The hygiene of the mindset is extremely important, and this is what we call epigenetics. Epigenetics, the great Dr. Bruce Lipton talks quite a lot about this, and this is something when I was young, when I studied biology in the 90s, DNA was supposed to be fixed. You were born like this, it was a family heritage, and you could not change. And from your childhood till the end, okay? But it's not true. We discover it's different. It is an adaptation, a retranscription of your mindset. And your mindset shape your DNA. And the DNA affect the full health of your body, the circulation of your energy and so on. So actually it is let's say reflection in between your mindset and your body. This is extremely important to know and to point out these elements and to integrate as well. So concretely, regarding these extreme cases of transcendence, it is when you are unified, when you are reaching this point of singularity, of unity, or you don't. This is no thinking, just an action, and you are convinced of it, of the result, and you transcend the reality. This is the principle of quantum mechanics. Okay, we know that it has been proved that, okay, I know it's a micro level, but actually the thoughts and the consciousness, there is a science for a consciousness? No, we don't know. Maybe it's just energy. So basically there is no the same way of measuring small or big. Okay, love, same, is emotion is different, but it's a kind of energy as well. So just what I try to tell you is that at the quantic level, we know that the observer impacts the results of the observation. If you analyze, you will get a particle. If you don't, you will have a field of potential, the quantic field. What does it mean? Practically, everything, if you analyze, becomes a particle, just a dot, like a pixel. Around this, you have a sphere of a potential. This is the united field or a quantic field, okay? Probability, concretely, it is the pixel, the particle, is one state of a number of the casino wheel. And on the other side, the field is just a superposition of potential states. That's to say, this is the rotation of the casino wheel. Okay, so you can see even my finger, if I do that, you can see many figures. Okay, it's not here, it's not here, it's not everywhere, but it's potentially everywhere. It's the same principle, and this is the sphere of consciousness. So a state, it is quantum collapse. It is when you choose one state, and this is according to the belief of people. If you are skeptical on a results, it will affect the results. Okay, there will be a failure, and if you are optimistic, it will, let's say, it will be more favorable for the success of the results. It's the same principle. So both are right. So that's why there is no battle for or against science and spirituality. This is fake debates, because those who are completely convinced about certain skepticism, they will be obtain always the fruits, the results of their experience, and everybody is satisfied, and that's fair enough. They are satisfied, they are right, they are better, and spirituality thinks the same, and so on. That is no problem for that. As long as there is a respect, it's fine, let's say. And also because it's a complementarity. Once we understood that they're right, we are right, and so on, everybody is right. Because it's just a question of perception, like the Rubik's Cube, you see the red, I say the green, both are right, and so on. So this is the point, and this is extremely important. Well, the notion of the mindset, for me, the transcendence, individually speaking, and is not a quest to become a superhero, to fly, Superman, and so on. Nothing at all. It's not. By the way, there is kind of, sometimes we hear powers and so on. Personally, I don't really like this word power. Power is like supremacy, and I want to. It's kind of spiritual ego. But abilities is different. Transcendence regarding this objective to find enlightenment, to find a certain awakening just for yourself, for marveling life, to experience the unity, the divine, and so on, and then to try to help people, not to shy, just to enlighten people, for them to find their own way, because nobody can go to the toilets to anybody. Nobody can give birth to someone else, and so on and so forth. It's the same principle. So for me, the quest of transcendence shouldn't be like a performance, like a record, like a, it's like in meditation. If you want to, I want to meditate 20 minutes and to be strong and to be better than you in comparison, it's vain, it's useless, it's not, have been shaped like this, competitivity, efficiency, to be stronger, and so on and so on. But this is just a perception. Okay, it's a dynamism, it's good for this, okay, fine. But not at this stage, because at this stage, the detachment brings you much more than trying to get or to perform, and so on. So the quest of transcendence requires a certain humility, because the more you discover some more fields of consciousness, the more you have, and the more you think, you realize, as Aristotle said, all what I know is that I don't know. Is Socrates or Aristotle? Well, anyway, a Greek philosopher. He said that all what I know is that I don't know. So basically, and the more you discover, and the more you realize that. Well, anyway, that's why it's fascinating, because it's endless. So just to come back to the point, one thing for me very important, humility, of course, but the mindset plus the discipline. Mindset means positivism and so on, we saw, and to be convinced. And secondly is the notion of discipline. Discipline means that is a part of your life. It doesn't mean that, yes, sir, like army. It's not this. It's just discipline with yourself, a certain honesty. When you learn a language, if you learn a few words and then a few more words 3 months later, you will never memorize. You need a certain rigorous you need to be rigorous. You need a certain rigor. It means that you need a certain frequency or regularity to do it 3 times a day, a week, for instance, or every day if you really want to intensify the effects. Is the same principle. So a discipline means, it means that it's not you're obliged, you feel constrained. It's not this. It's just that you this is a pleasure and you do frequently because you're conditioned to do it like this. It becomes a part of a habit actually. So this is important, the mindset plus the discipline. Then what I invite you to do is a concept that I baptized childult presage. Okay, childult, child, adult is a mix, childult, okay, child, adult, we will define after, and presage, presage, sage, a wise man in progress, wise man, wise woman, of course, in progress. It means that literally this is the kid, the inner child, the adult, parent, and the presage means the wisdom, the wise man in progress. Why in progress? Because if he say that he is wise, he's not wise. It's the same principle. Nobody will say to you, I'm illuminated, I'm enlightened. It's the eternal progress. Okay, so it's a process of wisdom. So inner child, basically what is it? It's simple. Inner child is the candid vision, is the notion of a bit naive, without preconceived ideas, the fact to marvel at life. Wow! For ants, for bees, for bird, for flower, for everything. It's a capacity to marvel at life. It's a capacity also to rise your vibration, because the kids, when they are very young, they don't have the notion of bad mindsets. They don't have the segmentation of the race, of the culture, and so on before 3 years old, for example. They just see potential friends for among every kids. So the high vibration of heart, the connection, because they are naturally connected. When you observe them, sometimes they are in the bubble. They talk to alone and so on. It's really it's funny. It's also the creativity, the intuition, but plus also the notion of simple pleasures. They enjoy for anything. This will become, I don't know, a plane or a car or, I don't know, a sword or whatever. But, you know, they have a great imagination and they can have fun with anything and anybody, actually. This is really touching. So, and also they have a certain magic with the notion of the presence. We will see a chapter, a special key for that, key 16, with the notion of the power of the present moments. And actually, they are literally absorbed by they are practicing mindfulness. They don't think about in 1 hour, if we go to school, if we have a homework. They are innocent. They just are in the moments. They play. It's playtime, daddy. It's study time, daddy. It's not what they did yesterday, or they are not like adults. So this is the inner child. And the inner child basically brings you this whole dimension. Then the adult is the structure, the square, the organization, the diplomacy, because a kid sometimes, this guy is smelling the mouth and so on. No, don't say that. You keep a certain silence for certain things, you know, you don't say everything, you know, so this kind of diplomacy. Okay, structure, diplomacy, organization, strategy, methodology, tools, training, all this kind of thing, which is very positive. Huh? And then the presage is a certain detachment, wisdom, no patience in the sense of middle way. Okay, we saw this in the chapter 7, in the key 7, and this is no egotic dimension in the sense I want to show off, I want to pretend, I want to shine with my experience and so on. No, he has a detachment. Is linked to the notion of wisdom, basically. Well, this is actually linked to what Leonardo da Vinci, which is for me proof of transcendence, because he was multidisciplinary. He was an engineer, he was a great artist, he was almost everything. And he really embodied for me the divinity deeply. And it's a principle for the development of a complete man or woman, human being. Study the art of science, study the science of art, learn how to see and to develop your senses, especially how to see, realize that everything is interconnected. Okay, so this is extremely important, because for him, learn the science of art, the art of science, with entertainment, with artistic dimension, painting, sculpture, whatever, books, philosophy, and also the science, astronomy, whatever, biology, everything, you can reach this point of marveling, observation, connection, bringing you on the way to transcendence. Okay, so, and also develop your senses, 5 senses, mindfulness, especially how to see and then to perceive. Enlarge your perspective. It means your intuition, your third eye, linking you to your unconsciousness, and thereby the collective unconsciousness and collective unthinking. Okay, the cloud, the unity, and so on, Akashic record, for which we have an access. Okay, so this is full. When he said that's the complete mankind, complete human being, is that invite this. Okay, it's and then to realize everything is interconnected, entangled, interdependent. This is the holistic approach, and this is exactly what I try to do for this all keys, saying that all of them, they are completely meshed, they are entangled, interconnected, because everything should be perceived as an ecosystem, as a full electronic device, all components as a resonance and effect on each other. This is the point. Well, actually, this is the concept of Übermensch, which has been badly perceived, is from Nietzsche, the philosopher, and it has been badly reused by Nazi, but actually, initially, is absolutely not that. It's just the transcendence, individual, not to show off, not to feel superior towards other people, other race, and so on. It's just personal. And actually, this is the same principle of spoliation of the, the swastikas. If I go to run every lunchtime, I see swastikas everywhere. Why? They are Nazi? No, they are Hindu. So, both sides. So it's not a question of size. The Nazi reused that as a symbol, and the same for Übermensch. Übermensch, sorry, means upper man. Okay, but it's a spoliation of the concept, because the concept is literally equivalent to Buddha, which means in Sanskrit it means literally awakened, illuminated. Basically, is only that. Okay, but Buddha is not embodying this state. This is a state of mind. It's just reach it, as everybody can do it. Buddha doesn't care when we go, sorry, it's not an offense, but when we are offering for the statue and so on, some flowers, some incense and so on, doesn't really mind actually. What he really, we can be grateful because he find the techniques and now we feel more in harmony in our daily life and so on. Yeah, it's another story. But the fact to deify, sacralize in a certain extent Buddha is not a finality. He just find a way. He was an ordinary man who find extraordinary potential dimension within himself. And he taught them for helping people to find their own way. But nobody can do for someone else. So that's the point. And actually this notion of illumination, Buddha awaken, is exactly the equivalence of Christ dimension. Christ comes from Christos. Christos is, in Greece, the crystal clear, is the purest material. So concretely, is a metaphor. It is the fact that every single man or woman can have an access of cleansing the bad vibration, the trauma, as we saw, introspection, cleansing, and then to rise the vibration. And once you have that, because concretely for me, transcendence is rising the vibration, high frequencies, lighter instead of matter, okay? Second is the connection, and then is the inner child. And actually the Christ dimension is only this, is an equivalent of Buddha. Buddha, Christ should be the same, is illuminated, is purified, is only that. But is not, Christ is not belonging to Jesus. Jesus accessed to this state of mind, this state of consciousness, and invited everybody to do the same. Buddha invited everybody to do the same. And actually Christ, Krishna, Christ, a little bit similar in terms of sound, seems the same. Krishna find this as well. Buddha find it as well. Jesus find it as well. Mani, which is who is absolutely not known, find it. Zarathustra find it, and so on. It's not limited, is not elected people. They are normal people, and they became transcendent thanks to this aspiration, accessible to anybody. When Jesus said, and Buddha say exactly the same, Jesus said literally, the kingdom of heaven is within you, among you, but within you. You have it. And he said, by the way, you will do better than me. So you can do it as well as me, even better. When he is trapped and he asks, and if he say, yes, I'm God, he is killed. So you pretend that you are God, okay? So a priest asked him this, and he replied, and directly, he doesn't say yes or no, he just say, you are also, but you forget, or you don't let space for this. You didn't let expressing the divinity. I find it, this is what he revealed, and is not well perceived, because we find the finality through this man. But once again, this is not the copyright, the ownership of Jesus, the man, the Christ dimension. This is extremely powerful, extremely important. And Christ is not reserved, is not the property of Christianity. It is a worldwide heritage. Hindu, they talk about the comeback of Isa, Christ, not as a single person, as Jesus, as this spirit, this, let's say, state of mind, this mindset is essential to understand that purely like this. And actually, you know, it's this principle is extremely powerful because, you know, by extension, we are in this notion of Armageddon for Jewish, Apocalypse, which means revelation for Christian, Dajjal for Muslim. This is the end of the times, the end of a time, a cycle. That's why the cycle is Yuga, okay? Hindu call it Kali Yuga. It's just a cycle, okay? It's a period of time. And they also talk about the comeback of Isa, but Isa means literally, even in Arabic, it means Jesus. But once again, it's spoiled in the sense of, it's not Jesus the man, it's the spirit, the notion of the Christ dimension, the mindset, the, let's say, the state of mind. The proof is when Jesus said, before Abraham was, I am. What was that? Because it's not grammatically correct and also historically correct. Abraham is living in Mesopotamia in Ur more than 3,000 years before Jesus Christ. History is not text and so on. Okay, so is the true I am. the true I am is the essence. So it's not Jesus as a man he's talking, is as a Christ, as this, I insist a lot, this state of mind. So even the Muslim, they are talking about, like the Hindu, the comeback of Isa is not that, it's Christ dimension. And that's why the esoteric movement, Sufism, the Sufi, they say exactly that. They say it's just an invitation of single human, whatever the religion, label, tag, and so on. It's not that at all. It's just the fact that we are invited to find back this purity of enlightenment or Buddha state of mind, or an equivalent, a synonym, Christ effect of state of mind. Both are similar. It's just synonym. Enlightened, illuminated, awakened is synonym, is the same. Buddha, Christ is the same synonyms, is equivalent. It's just a question. We have this video in English. I do it also in French. I could do in Chinese or in Portuguese, in Arabic, whatever the language. It won't affect the content. It's just a question of form. This is really, really important to understand that. Well, let's come back, because if I had to resume, for me, the new era, the new paradigm, the new cycle is just the fact that humanity find back its humanity. Individually, we find back the Christ dimension, the divinity, the humanity. It means that we are really human with our relative, everybody, unconditional love, even the difference, even the devil, and so on. We embrace everything. We are in peace, the salvation, the unity, and thereby, individually, once we've done that, every fragments can combine and come back to us as a single piece of the masterpiece, to master the peace, the universal peace, the universal peace. Right. All right, and universal, the soul of consciousness. Well, practically speaking, and more down to earth, I really invite you to think about this concept of childult presage, and to try to split up, to see your inner child part, your adult part, and the presage part, more or less in percentage, to see if it's balanced, and to see some techniques, some methodology to try to develop all of them. And the inner child, there is many ways. Personally, I wrote a book that I'm translating in English, Recreation, for which, by the way, it is accessible, in a course online in English. I forgot, but I'm also translating the book accessible for free in English, so it will be available soon. But let's say that there is 10 techniques to reactivate the inner child, because it's a source of awakening, transcendental dimension, and so on. Well, this is important for you to think about all this. Try to meditate actively, passively, intuitively, to all the points we saw together. Try to watch several times, take notes, rephrase, synthesize, eventually transmit to friends, relatives, to see, to visualize if you master, if you need some to deepen some elements, and so on. Share this video. Like this, you will see the inputs, the perception of different people, and maybe you will give birth to a new perspective, and you enlarge the consciousness. Once again, this is only one key. You are shaping your master key, and you are the key master, of course. All the roads lead to Rome and to Rome. Thank you for your attention, and see you soon.